Hey, what's up, Final Community? It's Andy, back home in Indiana. I got back. Well, I got to Indiana yesterday evening from Madison, and I've gotten the flu, so I'm going to be a little down here in this video. I just wanted to give an update. Um, First, I wanted to say visit Indiana because nobody ever does. We have good beer. This is Three Floyd's Gumball Head. This is a really great American Pale Ale wheat beer. Super hoppy, fruity. It's really good. So stop through Indiana when you're driving across the Midwest one day. When to finish up showing a record, I posted this on the Madison finds. I went back the day after I bought the Dolphy and Waldron and all those things. They had this the day I was there. This is Bud Powell Volume 4, Time Waits. I think that's Volume 4 Volume 4, 1598 mono pressing. So they had this for $100 at this shop. And so the day I bought quite a bit, I had them open it because they keep all their records like taped shut, which I think is a great idea actually, because that keeps people from tearing up the covers. So they asked for $100, and I thought, well, I don't want to spend that. And so I had them open it just to see it. And they had it mispriced because it's actually it has the 63rd labels, but it's not a plastitite. There's no ear on it, so it's a second pressing, but they just used old labels. So the next day, but they didn't. The owner wasn't there, so they couldn't do anything for me on the price. So the next day, I went back, and he was there, and so he marked it down to like $38. So that's a reasonable price. Excuse me. And so I got that. And I also had a 10% off coupon from the previous day, so I used a 10% off coupon. I got a couple other random things, an Art Pepper record on Galaxy, just some other stuff. Okay, then today I'm here in Indiana. My wife doesn't get in until Thursday, or until tomorrow, and we're doing Christmas Thursday with her father's family. So I went to college to do some work at the library, and on my way I stopped at a flea market because my wife and I are trying to put together a white elephant gift for people on her mom's side. So we're trying to build a Tom Hanks fan club packet as if it was 1992. So we have, she has an old Us Weekly with Tom Hanks on the cover. And so I was looking for some VHS and a doll with dark curly hair. So the packet's going to be the Us Weekly cut with Tom Hanks on the cover. Joe versus the Volcano is the VHS I found at the flea market. And a lock of his hair, which is actually a curly doll's hair. So, but I went in and they had a ton of records. And I never actually been in this place, but they had some really good stuff. And I haggled with the guy a bit, and I ended up picking up 3 records. So the first one I picked up is Street of Dreams, Grant Green. This is a really interesting record. This is a quartet, but it's all a rhythm section quartet. So it's got Grant Green on guitar, of course, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Larry Young on organ, Elvin Jones on drums. So it's kind of the same group as Talking About, but throwing in Bobby Hutcherson. So I like Talking About a lot, and so I grabbed it. This is a Liberty pressing on the classic Blue Note label, Rudy Van Gelder, and it's the mono, BLP 4253, in, I would say, VG Plus condition. So I grabbed that. I never seen that record in the wild. I thought that was cool, and I like that combination of players. Also at that shop, I grabbed this. This is Miles Davis, Fille de Kilimanjaro. I think that's how you say that correctly in French. And I have this record, but mine is a later pressing. This is a 2i. stereo pressing of this record. So that's an upgrade for me in terms of going back older, and then I will sell my or trade off my other one. So that wasn't a very expensive record. That's a great record, but they must have pressed a ton of them. Okay, and this was the last one I got at this shop, and this is probably the rarest one that they had in the whole shop. And so I had to go back and forth with the guy. He wasn't there, so I wrote a note and left an offer for him for those 3 records. And then they called me a little bit later, and he asked for like $5 more than my offer, so I went ahead and did it. So this is Art Blakey, Orgy and Rhythm. This is Mono, 1554. I would call the record near mint from looks. I haven't listened to it. It's got deep groove on the side 2 with West 63rd, but New York non-deep groove on the front. So this is this must be a pressing from like 60, 62 or something like that, from what I can tell. It's got the ear, so it's plasticite, and it's got the inner sleeve before they started putting the 60 or the 26 years of Blue Note. So I think that means like 62 or 63, something like that. Okay, so that's good. I love that record. I love Volume 2 of that record as well, and it's something I'm always meaning to grab, but I just never have. Okay, so that was the place. So if you're ever coming through Indiana, drink some beer. If you're ever driving through Muncie, Indiana, which Muncie in 1960 was the most average city in the United States. There was a huge sociological survey in Muncie because it was so close to the average in so many measures. I'd say now it's way below average in most measures in terms of income, education, and things like that. But if you think about it, that means there's cool stuff here from the 60s when people were average. So stop by Muncie, go to Off-Broadway Antique Store, and there's a guy selling records there. He had a ton of rock. He had really good singles, 7-inch singles. I almost bought an original Pie Kinks. You really got me, he had there. Maybe next time I'm in town. Okay, and the other place, and this is a place I've talked about before, and I've reviewed them on Yelp. I love this shop. This is on my old college campus, Ball State University, and it's called the Village Green Records. And I tell people, if you're in Indianapolis and you want to do record shopping, drive up to Muncie. It's about an hour, but if you can, go up to Muncie and go to Village Green. It's better than any shop in Indianapolis. There's a place in Kokomo, Indiana that's also supposed to be really good, but I haven't made it yet. So he had a ton of like jazz, funk, disco records. He had them all in like this. They spread across all of this. It's all like this fusion of dance music from the mid to late 70s. And a lot of stuff on labels I never heard of before, and all reasonably like under $10. So I grabbed a bunch of it that I just sat there for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes playing a track at a time. I like a lot of this music, but my idea from getting it all was that there's this DJ, like amateur DJ hour that the people started doing at a club in Austin, and I went once and I didn't realize that that's what it was. So I only brought one record. But actually, you can bring like a half-hour set, and so I thought it'd be fun to put together a half-hour set for when I get back to Austin. So here's one I grabbed. This is what is this band called? This is a Philly band, I think. The Sound Experience. I listened to just a couple tracks of this. Funky, has a bit of a disco feel to it. It's dance music. Don't fight the feeling on Soulville. I'd never heard of that label before. Sounded good, so I grabbed it. One that I got, of course I know. He had Al Green sitting there up on the wall for $14. Not a bad price at all. This has "Take Me to the River" on it, and it's in near mint shape, so I grabbed it. Can you just imagine how many women Al Green Must have gotten me. You know what I mean? That guy. Some people just have it easy. What can you do? Here's another one on a label I didn't know. I just listened to a track and I really liked it. This is Thomas Harris, Dark Horse, on Roxbury Records. Look at that. Again, I think I showed that Lenny White record, and I said it made me think that it's like somebody just drew this on their Trapper Keeper at some point. That's what I think about that, too. That looks like, like a high school, like, man, it'd be badass if we had a horse, and it was like breathing fire from its nose. Oh, that's going to be badass. Let's put that on the cover. He's older than high school, but, that's the kind of, I remember being in bands in high school and sitting around drawing the, what we thought of, spending a lot of time coming up with names, and then spending a lot of time thinking about cover art. Very little time practicing, so we never actually got very far, but, here's another one that he had for a really reasonable price, really funky. The Barkeys, how do you say that? Barkeys? Cold-Blooded on Volt. Got a snake on the cover of that one. Check out this gatefold.
Now, what you make us for supper?
I'm making a little video right now. Alright, my father-in-law just came in, so I'll wrap it up, and see you guys later. Bye.